welcome to Intimate Lea. I am Michelle Lee, and today I have the extraordinary honor of my guest, Beth Brown-Rinella here, and she is the former owner of Goddess I Am here in Naples, Florida. Longtime guidance of all spiritual, metaphysical things, and she happens to be on a quest similar to much of the journey that I've been recording about, my own and a lot of the people that I've been around. Were learning that there's something other than the hustle culture. And I was speaking with Beth on the phone, and she said her message that she's been getting is simple or simplify.
Simplicity.
Welcome, Beth. Tell us all about that. Yay!
Yeah,
Simplicity.
Simplify.
Right.
So, I tune in with my guides, and one of the messages I kept getting was, it's time to simplify. And I was like, well, what do you mean by simplify? And they said, no work. And I said, excuse me? What do you mean, no work? Of course I have to work. And they said, no work that makes you have to push or hustle or put something out there. If people come to you, it's a yes. But if you're having to go out and hustle to find the people to bring them into your world, then you're doing too much. It's time to simplify. And that's what I've been doing.
That's a very interesting concept, and I want to come back to that and learn. And we're going to talk a lot about that.
It's definitely more in the feminine side of work. Masculine is hustle, push, force, make it happen.
And we're just talking about the energy, like a feminine energy versus a masculine energy. So Beth, how do you contact your guides? How did you get into all of this? Tell us some intimate details about your life.
Okay, well, let's see. I really came into everybody calls it the awakening. For me, it was more like, it was kind of like I got the nudge. It was so gentle and so simple. And really the nudge was, get some paper and pen. And I had a 3-year-old at the time. And so they said, meet us here every day at 9 a.m. And I said, I can do that. And so it's like I became a secretary for spirit. I would get words in a clairaudient way, and I would just write it. My job was just write whatever I heard, and it didn't have to make sense. It didn't have to have good grammar. It didn't have to have good punctuation. But when I would read it back to myself, I realized that it needed no edits. It was perfectly beautiful sentences. It was information I didn't have in my own brain, and so I knew it wasn't for me. And that began my journey of being a channeler. And to this day, it's my most favorite thing to do is channel, because I find that the energy is so profound. The words are so impactful that I couldn't come up with that on my own, but it really makes a difference. So here we are.
Yeah. And it's you mentioned clairaudience, but there's clairvoyance, clairsentience. There's like all of these different terms for senses that we can perceive.
Absolutely.
Inner intelligence.
Absolutely. And everyone has it.
Everyone has it.
It's just, do you listen? In fact, when I teach psychic development classes, often the biggest hurdle for people to get over is their own doubt. And so, for example, one lady came and she said, I was cleaning a window one day and I just got this image in my mind, and and later on she was saying to me, but so when am I going to get images? When am I going to get information? And I'm like, you got it. But she kept denying it. She kept thinking, no, of course that couldn't be from spirit. But that's exactly what it was. So spirit is subtle. You've got to be attuned to knocking out the big noise and just listen to all the subtleness. Like, I don't get moving pictures in my clairvoyance. I usually get snapshots. I'll get a quick picture. I'll get a quick image. And that's how it works for me. But for you, it may be something completely different. You may have long, colorful visions of like a 30-second clip of a movie preview. And that's exactly what it can look like. Then it's up to you to figure out, what does it mean? But it's so much fun, and I encourage everybody, work on yourself, get quiet, get still every day, and just see what happens. And don't have any expectations, because expectations are just going to be disappointments. So just let spirit show up as it chooses to, and be open to whatever shows up, because it may make no sense to you at the beginning until you start putting things together, and then those little aha bubbles start popping.
Yeah.
And you realize, oh my gosh, I've been doing this all along.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that spirit? Yes.
Well, and that, I think that is where religion, taught about faith, taught about practices, taught about prayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the spiritual cultures, they talk about mantras and singing and yoga and getting quiet,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can, and that's why I teach the Lea activation, get to a point of where your nervous system is relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
but active.
That's it.
Your nervous system is able to move fluidly throughout your body. And when we have areas that you just don't feel anything, those are what we call the blocks, right?
Yep.
And more than likely, that is something energetically that happened to you. And it could be in this lifetime if you're very, very sensitive. It could be from previous lifetimes if you believe in that, right? But an energy can never be created or destroyed. And an energy can be in the physical body from many lifetimes.
Very many.
But
yeah.
I just want people to focus on this lifetime. Like, what can you look at in yourself? Where can you take full responsibility in your life?
Yeah.
Then you start to see yourself in a different way. You're losing the judgments of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're no longer judging what you're feeling or hearing. You're thinking all things are possible.
Right.
So from that standpoint, you have an open mind.
Yeah.
And you're not closed-minded.
That's right.
That's when you start to really hear.
And the next thing is being open to receiving, because so much of our life can be, you find you're protecting yourself. You're protecting yourself from the mean girls at school, or you protect yourself if you have an angry or raging parent, or someone who maybe is as an alcoholic or has mental illness, and so the house doesn't feel safe. So many empaths are developed by having to watch to see, where am I safe? And so what ends up happening is we develop these walls, these things that we create to keep ourselves safe. But when you start really diving into who you are and what you're about, you realize that they don't actually serve you. They actually kind of block you. So part of the healing is bringing down the walls, knowing that you're safe, knowing that you're capable, knowing that you have everything within you to develop a wonderful relationship with your guidance, with God, with Goddess, however, whoever, whatever you wish to be aligned to.
Buddha, Allah.
It doesn't even matter. It's like my favorite way of thinking about the afterlife is that I'm going to walk through and I'm going to get high fives. Thank you, Buddha. Thank you, Yeshua. Thank you, Allah. Thank you.
Mary.
Everybody's just going to be high five, and yeah. And it's like, because I feel like they're all part of the same team.
Yeah.
And it's only humanity that's kind of broken the team up into factions.
Yeah.
And that's a us problem, not a them problem.
Yeah.
So, when we just get real comfy with being able to receive, it's amazing what happens.
So with that, let's move back into the simplify, because receiving is not always simple for people.
That's right.
And we've been conditioned to live in this society where you have to keep your nose down, stay to the grind, and definitely the old scenario of chop wood, carry water still remains true.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to carry through with your visions.
Yeah, absolutely you do.
But how do we simplify and receive and move into that phase of this new culture?
So for me, the direction I'm going to go in is I want to get into gardening. I want to go be a farmer now. So part of my, next 6 months is going to be moving to Tennessee onto my family's land and building a garden. And I'm I'm so encouraged by, getting earthy, right? Because the earth is our mother, if we like to think of her that way. And what's beautiful is that the earth will take all of our strife, all of our anxiety, all of our fear. And if you just send it down to the earth through your feet, through your grounding cord, through your hands, flicking things like this, the earth says thank you because she just transmutes everything into whatever she needs. Yeah. I figure all my old anger is feeding trees and growing flowers. So, so simplification for me means I'm not going to be on social media, really. I mean, I will to keep people finding me if they need my services, if they need the work that I do. But I'm not going to be scrolling daily for hours. I'm not going to be using my phone as my playmate anymore. It's going to be set down. Music is going to be in my field, and we're going to just commune with nature. And for me, that is slowing down. That is stopping the hustle.
Yeah, and there's a natural progression to that as we age. We don't have the same amount of hormones providing the same amount of energy and the same amount of drive.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually is true that if you figure just our seven bodily chakras,
Mm-hmm.
right, take 7 years to fully open and fully be able to be exposed to everything that the lessons are there. So at 48 is when our crown chakra is finally fully open. And that's when we're all kind of like, you think midlife crisis, women go through menopause. It's like perimenopause is happening. Like all of these things are happening, but there's biological reasons, there's scientific reasons, and there's spiritual reasons.
Da-da-da.
Right? It's like, oh,
surprise!
I'm so shocked. And so now at 48, if we keep an open mind, we get that opportunity to receive from all of the effort and the trials that we've gone through and let that hustle culture go. But I'm seeing now that the younger generation is also seeing past that veil, because we're actually in the age of Aquarius, where the more that we hear and tune in and we're guided by our mother creatrix inside of us, the more opportunity that the Father, Son, and universe has to put the life into your creation, which is what I've kind of been channeling with the screenplay and the movie that I've been working on. And so the fact that you want to get back to mother and be guided by that energy as a creator here on earth is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so excited because I have in my mind this orchard full of fruit trees with some nuts growing as well. And, it's not just going to be food to eat. It's not going to just be tomatoes and zucchini and eggplant. It's going to be a swath of dahlias and ranunculus and roses. I want to be surrounded by nature's gifts, right? The beauty. I want to feel great for bringing in a handful of flowers into the home because I've got so many.
Yeah.
And I want to just really let that feed me. Feed me, I don't want to be fed by what's on TikTok. I don't want to be, I'm not interested in what's going on in the world, if I'm really honest. I'm aware, but that's not where I need to put my focus.
Yeah, you're being your own creator.
That's it. And I wish to keep myself in my peaceful state. And that's not avoidance state. It's knowing and being aware of what's going on that's bad. And doing what you can in those moments to soothe, to spread love, to send out the light, to help bring some kind of a balanced awareness into those areas. But it's not my world that I need to go protesting, for example. That's not who I'm here to be. I'm here to do things differently. But it's about for people that are like me, and if you align with this, it's about knowing what's out there, but not being, it's like being in the world, but not of the world, if that makes sense.
Exactly. I've heard that many times.
So that's where, stepping back from what has become, in a way, for a lot of people, a trap, because it gets so distracting. And you find that half your day is gone and you've done actually nothing significant. Not that you have to, but that you can feel like, wow, that was time wasted, not time served.
And what is significance?
Yeah.
Who's judging that?
It's only your own self.
Exactly.
It's only what you feel.
We crucify ourselves over and over and over again based on the conditioning. And this was something that came through for me today. One of my, and I always share something intimate about myself. So I'm going to share with you that today I was really diving into doing all of this, and I had a lot of frustration with, oh my God, it's not perfect yet. And you don't know how to set two microphones up in the room together without the echo. And, I was really downing myself. But the big step that I'm not celebrating is that I was so conditioned to both of my grandparents. They had their own business together. And then my parents had their own business together. And then I married my first husband and had a business with him. Married my second husband. He left his job and came and started working with me and had a business together. I'm like, my conditioning is that I have to be in business with someone else to be successful.
Oh, okay.
And here I am, all alone. And it has been a struggle. It has been this beautiful ebb and flow of every emotion possible to fight the struggle of wanting to bring someone else in. And I think it's just because I genuinely love it. I genuinely love what I do. Every step of my life has been so much fun to be a creator.
Right.
And I want to share it.
Yeah.
And so now, instead of just getting to share it with one person, I get to share it with thousands. And it's so exciting.
But isn't it neat when you start to realize that the way it's always been doesn't mean it's always the way it has to be?
I couldn't simplify because I couldn't get out of the way of thinking I needed someone else there with me.
And yet I watched you work for about 15 minutes figuring it out, the height, just the right positioning and stuff, and you did it. So now you have the skill set. It's just the frustration will go down as it feels easier.
And that's when there's a pull, like you've got a desire, and you're being pushed to do it.
Yeah.
And then if we get over the fear, and a good friend of mine, Reverend Renee, said this at Unity, you get to that point of where that push becomes a pull. When you crest over that fear and you're pushing because you're hearing a call, but then all of a sudden now it's just pulling you.
It's like once you get to that place where you realize, oh,
the surrender.
I did it. I got this. I figured it out. Suddenly, all of that resistance that you'd been holding on to just flips away.
To be perfect.
No.
Perfect doesn't even exist in the world. And you're a Virgo manifesting generator, so you want, and in the Grafton's, competition's my number one skill. That's not against other people.
Right.
It's about literally doing it better and better and better. So again, when you see these characteristics, you can learn to laugh at them and go, oh, that's just me wanting to be better. Yesterday, I wanted to cut something and redo it. And I'm like, no, you're going to be shooting again. It's fine.
Yeah.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Simplify.
It's such a habit to look for fault. Yeah. Fault in ourselves, fault in others. That's a hard one to stop, because you think, oh, I have a better way. I would do it different. And yet the beautiful thing is when you get to a place where you really employ the art of allowing, especially with other people, it stops all of that judgment because you realize it has no place in allowing. You can't allow and judge at the same time. It's impossible. So,
and it isn't simple.
No, but would you like me to go? So allowing is really kind of a cool skill. So allowing, for example, is not inputting your thoughts, your beliefs, or what you think ought to be happening in someone else's life. So if your friend comes to you and says, oh my gosh, I've made a choice. I'm going to go move to Colorado and live with this guy I just met. And in your mind, you may be screaming, are you crazy? That is the dumbest idea. You're going to leave a good job, leave what you do, all your friends. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, that's a terrible idea. Ah, and you get all bound up. And now you put this on your friend who is all excited because she's come up with this epiphany of what she has to do. And you just crapped all over it. And now she's questioning herself. So that is the opposite of allowing. Allowing is hearing your friend tell you she's got some, what feels like a harebrained scheme. And you just saying, well, what is it about Colorado that attracts you? And what do you feel? What if things? What are you going to do when you get to Colorado? And how is this going to play out for you? So instead of putting the kibosh on her dream, because we don't know the big picture, you just get all of your own personal stuff out of the way and you just let her do it. Because what if this is the way that Spirit is getting her to Colorado? Because this guy's going to be one and done in a month. But there she is. And guess who she meets while she's in Colorado? The one, the person who changes the trajectory of her life, but she had to get there.
Absolutely.
So when we're crapping on her idea, what Spirit is doing is saying, please, can you not do that? We really need her to get to Colorado. Really, stop. Right? So if we get out of our way and we just move into allowing, I don't ever want to put the kibosh on anyone's dream. But it's ask good questions without a narrative of don't ask questions so that it's still leading. It's like, well, tell me, what do you think about this? Why do you want to go? What is your joy in this?
Get curious.
Exactly. And that is part of allowing that frees you and frees them, even within what you may be in your mind going, this seems insane.
But again, that's about having an open mind.
That's right.
Open mind not only about your life, but someone else's life also.
That's right.
Again, who in the right mind at almost 55 would have thought that I would change so much even again? But why not? Life isn't about, for me anymore, life isn't about acquiring more. It's about growing and experiencing and accepting all that is and just loving all of it.
Yeah.
So this has been great conversations.
Yay.
And I can really see where, simplifying could allow you the space to connect more with hearing, feeling, your intuition, your guidance, and then in all feeling more satisfied in life.
You just kind of cruise through things, right? I don't have this want energy anymore. It used to be that I felt like want energy drove me. I wanted more money. I wanted more success. I wanted more stuff. And now, because we're going to sell our house, I'm in the process of getting rid of all that stuff I felt I had to have in order to have either a good or successful life. And I realized the only thing I really need is me. I need me. And that's it. And if I had to go live in a 1-bedroom apartment all by myself with very little stuff, I could find joy in that. But 20 years ago, I would have been crazy in that same situation. So maturity is a beautiful thing. And, I'm past having to raise children. I'm past feeling like I have to build a career. And now I'm just like, like if people were to say, but you're good at what you do, why would you give that up? It's like, I'm not giving it up. I'm adding so much to myself in the simplicity of life, right? So can I find myself in an afternoon baking bread and being as happy about that as if I got a big contract for something? Absolutely. Simple joys from simple things. And it's just, I don't know, it just makes me happy. And I don't feel like I need to hustle into anything. It's like, I think today I'll bake some bread. So here we go, getting the bread stuff out. Today I think I'll make tinctures. Okay, let's get all that out. But it's not because I feel some outside force is telling me I should be doing that. It's because I just naturally wish to make my own medicine. I don't want to be involved with the greater governmental stuff. I want to be in my own little world. I want to be the, I always say that so many of us in the spiritual world have this fever dream. And the fever dream is being a little old lady in the woods. She's got a goat, she's got chickens, she raises her own things, and she just takes care of herself in that way. But she just futzes around and hums and just kind of lives her life like this. And if people come, she entertains them and gives them, here's some fresh bread, here's some freshly baked cookies. But this is her life. And when I say this to people, they're like, I have that same vision. So it's almost like it's a remembering of what could be if we just let the world do its fast paced hustle, hustle, bustle. Go by. I don't need you. Just run away from me.
Well, and I want to end here, but I want to say that hustle doesn't have to mean that you can't have more.
Oh, right.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so we're going to pause there and table that, but if you really are wanting this next step in your life, it doesn't mean that you can't get there or that you can't expand, right? It means that you don't have to hustle everyone else's energy to get to that point. You learn to have conversations with people who naturally align with where you want to get to, because your field, your frequency is resonating at that frequency of becoming new, right? And not only that, your biomagnetic field is going to attract people into it. So simplifying means letting go sometimes just to make room for the new things to come.
That's exactly right. And the priestess world teaches us that when we as women, because we're the magnetic,
Yes,
and the men are the electro,
correct,
right? When we say, this is what I wish in my life universe, then the universe rearranges itself.
Yeah.
And so we don't need, it will come to us from that magnetic perspective. And so hustling also has an underlying fear.
Correct.
Like, if I don't do this, they
That's
won't
right.
come.
It's
If I don't
fear-based.
do that, if I don't post 5 times a day, no one will find me. I won't make money. I won't. It's like lack, fear, lack, fear. And pretty soon you just get lost in that, and you feel like, I can't get off this train of this fear hustle. And I'm here to say you absolutely can. Because when you sit back and relax about it and say, okay, this is what I want, this is what will happen, then all the things that would have been blocks in your way they just naturally go. I'm hardly putting out anything, and I get calls every week. Can I make an appointment with you? I have 3 friends I want to do. And it's like, great. But this is what simplicity can also do for us.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Thank you for all of that wise information. And if you know someone who would benefit from this conversation today, please make sure that you share it with them. And if you also got something out of it for yourself, make sure that you subscribe and like so that you keep getting these videos. And I'll definitely love to have you back again, Beth. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
And if you also want to figure out how to allow yourself to get into being directed by your inner guidance, you can contact Beth and you can work with you one-on-one, correct?
Yeah.
Online or in person, is that available?
Either way.
Wonderful. Yeah. All right. I look forward to seeing all of you again soon. Thank you again, Beth. Till the next time. Bye, everyone.